Let's not sour on this round of the Clash. Hey guys, Tom here. Welcome back to the Underground and the Classic Cocktail Clash. Took a little bit of a break past couple weeks. Gave us time for getting some things done, getting some results into the Clash because we are moving right along. I'm not even sure how many matchups we got left. And I don't even want to wait. I'm going to move right into it because today we are in the citrus bracket with two big matchups, 4 big drinks. But first, I wanted to get into the last couple that we did and tell you some results. In Clash 19 was a Sweet 16 round. It was the Daiquiri versus the Bahama Mama. Daiquiri, great drink. Rum, lime, some sweetness. I think in that round we actually varied it. We made a raspberry daiquiri. And that went up against Bahama Mama, which to me is the quintessential Caribbean cocktail. Bunch of rum, fruit juice, just delicious. And put it out there for you guys. Everybody voted, I voted, Lisa voted, you guys voted. And the winner of that matchup, I think a little bit of an upset, was the Bahama Mama. It's just a great drink. I don't know if maybe because the nice weather's coming. So, I mean, there's more variations that you can do to a daiquiri naturally, but a Bahama Mama, you can make it different ways. I mean, we have 4 recipes right here that you can make it, and there's even more besides that, but the Bahama Mama moves on. And that's gonna face the winner of matchup 20, which was the Sea Breeze versus the Collins. Classically, it was a Tom Collins. In this round, we made a John Collins, which was just whiskey in place of the gin. But you can make John Collins, Vodka Collins, Rum Collins, all kind of different Collins. And that went up against the classic Sea Breeze, vodka, cranberry, grapefruit, a refreshing drink. And again, I left it up to you. And the winner of that matchup versus the Sea Breeze and the Collins was, wait for it, the Sea Breeze. I think, when I think of fruit drinks, highballs, and Sea Breeze is a highball because it's a spirit with mixer. I know if you're from my age or whatever, you think of a highball as whiskey and ginger ale, but a highball is not a drink per se. It's a classification of drink with spirit and mixer. And Sea Breeze is just a great one. So that moves on. But, excuse me, let's get into this matchup. Matchup 21. This is the Sweet 16 matchup, and we're doing the whole Sweet 16 citrusy bracket because there's a couple drinks I don't have to make again. So we're just gonna get into it. And the first matchup is gonna be the Gimlet versus the Paloma. And then the second matchup is going to be the Dark and Stormy versus the Moscow Mule. Now these are all drinks that are citrus based, specifically lime in this case. It seems like, I guess most of these were lime even going back into the preliminary round. I should have just called this the lime bracket. But we are going to mix up a few things differently. So in the first matchup we're going to do the Gimlet versus the Paloma. I'm not remaking a Paloma because a Paloma is just a great classic drink. If you remember, it was, well, I'll put it here while I talk about it. Paloma was just tequila, lime, or a little bit of lime juice, and some grapefruit soda. This is, I happen to use Ting, which is a product of somewhere that if I had my glasses, I could tell you. I forget, we talked, oh, it's Jamaican. This is Jamaican. There's a lot of different grapefruit sodas you can use, even in this country. And the thing probably I'm gonna tell you that I like about this soda, if I can read the ingredients, sugar. Yeah, you can get sodas in this country. I think Squirt is grapefruit, Fresca is, well, it's diet. But Squirt's gonna probably have high fructose in it, which is, if you're gonna drink soda, it's bad enough we're drinking soda. Try to drink one that's sugar, not chemical crapola. There, down off my soapbox. So, let's just set that aside because that's going to go up against the Gimlet. Traditionally, the Gimlet was gin, and in the first round, it in fact was gin. But for our purposes today, we're going to mix it up because we can, and we are going to make a vodka Gimlet. And it's nothing is changing except we're replacing vodka for the gin. And let's see, we need some vodka, and I'm going to use about 2.5 vodka. So that's 1.5. That's probably 3/4. So it's a little over, but who's counting? And then some lime. About 1/2 of lime, give or take. And then a little bit of syrup. Just a touch. Just let me check here. And then we need some ice. I have a bunch of stuff here, so my ice is kind of hard to get at. And naturally, there's a mess. You know what? I'm just going to stir this one a little bit. Let's get a glass. Certainly a lime garnish is the idea of the day, and that completes our first round matchup today with a vodka Collins. Next up, the next matchup, and I didn't go over the history of the first two drinks. I'll leave you cards or links if you want to check out where these drinks originated from, get the history of these drinks. But I wanted to, more importantly, move on because we just have so much to cover and I didn't want to be too redundant. The bottom half of the bracket features the Dark and Stormy, which you know that's one of my go-tos, versus the Moscow Mule. Dark and Stormy, again, I'm not going to make it because you can't really improve upon perfection in my view. Dark and Stormy, remember, if it's a Dark and Stormy, it has to be Gosling's rum and it has to be Gosling's ginger beer. If you're using any other kind of rum or any other kind of ginger beer, you are making a rum buck. Remember, buck is anything that's ginger related. So that's what that is. Gosling's rum, a little bit of lime juice, and some ginger beer. And that matches up against the Moscow Mule. We made Moscow Mule back, Moscow Mule beat out the Margarita, if you recall. And Moscow Mule is one of those ones that I thought had the cool history because it was a guy that, I'm not gonna get into it too much, but it was basically a guy had too much vodka with a guy that had a way to get rid of it, and they came up with this. But do yourself a favor, check out, I've gone over Moscow Mule a couple times in a couple different episodes here, but it's worth revisiting if you're into history, especially drink history. I think it's kind of fun. But we are going to mix it up, and we are not going to make a Moscow Mule. We are going to make, or I'm going to make, you're going to watch, and then you are going to make it of your own volition. A Kentucky Mule. And as you can imagine, whereas a Moscow Mule had vodka, because Russian vodka, Moscow, did you get it? You get it? A Kentucky Mule, being from Kentucky, what would you imagine would be the base spirit in a Kentucky Mule? Wait for it. Who said bourbon? That's correct. Whoever said bourbon, make yourself a Kentucky Mule. 2 ounces of bourbon to be specific. And then two ounces of bourbon with some lime. Of course, you can't have a mule without some lime. Half of lime. And here's the whole thing. If you find yourself cool little bottles, save them. This was like I told you before, I try all kind of different beers, ginger beers. This was one I found. It was all right, but I liked it because of the bottle. This is a cool bottle. So I put my syrups, put my juices in it. Naturally, you can go buy, fancy bottles if you want. And then some ginger beer. That's not Gosling's, that's a different kind, but it's just as delightful. Actually, it's not just as delightful because we have ranking videos telling you which ginger beer is more delightful than the next. And then, how about a lime? And because it's Kentucky, I don't know why why not put a little greenery in there? It's that time of year, gang. My mint has erupted. A little mixing. And there is our last entry in the Sweet 16 round of the citrus bracket. A variation on the Mule, the Kentucky Mule. We've talked about it long enough. We've waited long enough. It's time for the best part of the day, where we say, ready, drink. Okay, what am I gonna try first? I think I'm gonna go this way because, actually, I'm gonna go this way, but I'm gonna try this first because I know what this tastes like. I'm not a tequila guy, but if I recall, I haven't had this since its first matchup, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoy it again. It's a tasty drink, it's refreshing. It's not overly great for, what's this stuff taste like by itself? Did I do that last time? Probably I did. It's grapefruity, but it's not overly so. So and it's not super sweet. So that just makes it a nice little drink. Okay, let's try this vodka Gimlet. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to cheers you guys. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. I mean, it's all right. I'm not a big straight alcohol drinker, which is basically what that is. Could be colder. I'm sure that's probably sacrilege, but whatever. I mean, it's just okay. I mean, I can tell you already which one I'm going to vote for in this round. But it's not just up to me. It's up to you guys. You got to vote. Make sure you vote. Whether you vote here in the comments, you can vote on. I try to do recaps on Instagram. I do drop the ball sometimes. I apologize, but you can still vote there. You know, you can message me or whatever. There's, you know, however you can get a hold of me to let me know what you think is the best drink. That's what I want you to do. And then, see, this one's gonna be tough for me, especially because I like this, and they're both ginger beer. Man, that's good. And then let's move on to this Mule. Now, some people in the last one with the daiquiri, they voted for the daiquiri because it was raspberry. But I don't want you to do that. I want you to vote for the concept of the drink. You know, daiquiri, whether it's, you would drink a daiquiri, whether it was rum, flavored, frozen, whatever. Same thing with the Mule, whether you drink a Moscow Mule, a Kentucky Mule. If you recall, a while back, we made a Bahamian Mule. I've done Christmas mules. So vote for the concept of the Mule, which is like a Swedish, not Swedish, like Swedish sweet, S-W-E-E-T-I-S-H, sweet like, has sweetness. And I apologize to Swedish people for making that sound. Don't yell at me. That's like, I was like the guy on the Muppets, right? So it was like in jest. It wasn't done to belittle Swedish people. I don't even, is anybody from Sweden watch? I hope so. But anyway, I digress. So vote for the concept of the Mule, which is a ginger beer based drink with spirit, lime, and some sort of sweet element, which is how I would classify that. So cheers. That being said, that is delicious. Because you know I like bourbon. And I thought putting the mint in there was kind of dumb, but as you're drinking it, you get the woosah of the mint. And again, you can mix that up with different ginger beers because they're all different. I happen, for that drink, I happen to use Reed's, which is, I like. Different ginger beers have different levels of sweetness. So that's going to change that drink up. But anyway, please vote. Paloma versus Gimlet, whether it be gin, vodka, whatever. Dark and Stormy, which we know is only one way, versus Mule, Moscow Mule, or a Mule type drink. The classic being Moscow, but vote as if it were a Moscow Mule, because you know what that's like, because you've had it before. I just wanted to do something different because I don't want to just give you the same thing over and over and over because you wouldn't watch. So there you have it. Please vote. Come back and see us again. If it's your first time here, welcome. You're coming into the home stretch of the Clash. We're having a great time. So think about subscribing. View the rest of the Clash, restaurant drinks, tasting with Tom, happy hours, inventing drinks, having a good time, and hit the bell. That way, when we have something new, we'll let you know. You can come and check it out with us. So until the next time, remember, if you're going to drink like a pirate. That guy's not going to be here anymore. I decided he's not going to be here anymore. I've got tired of him. But just drink like a pirate. You know, we're all pirates at heart, scallywags in our own way. But please, be a good pirate and drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive or any of that bad stuff. And until I see you next time right here for more at the Grantham Pub Underground, remember, I'll save a seat at the bar for you. Cheers.